Oh, hey guys, welcome back to another GQ Asian Gaming Podcast. We are here with the trio. Introduce yourselves, everybody.
The triad of power. I am, oh my god, I'm going into that bastard here. Yeah, I have like 20 different names. I need to apologize ahead of time. I only have 2 hours of sleep, so this might be the episode where we backslide into heresy and R-rated ratings.
It's all good, man. And my name is Zuffle. I'm actually here on time for once, which is kind of nice.
This is our second episode, we mean for once.
He wasn't out fighting crime this time.
Or being a family man.
Go home and be a family man.
And of course, you have B, your resident GQ Asian dude, here with the podcast with some week in news, some gaming, some politics. Let's kick it off with this live cinematic Contra.
That bastard interruption. Yeah, we're going to be talking about the live action Korean Contra. Oh my god, the teaser is so good. GQ, please tell me you have the link in the description below, because we need the link in the description below. I don't care that it's just a teaser. I don't care that all it is the symbol of Red Falcon opening up to blades and guns. And the original theme song. It is still the greatest thing I've ever seen in my life, and I'm praying it's not like No Man's Sky. I'm praying that we don't get jacked out by that.
Well, it's a movie, right?
Did No Man's Sky have a live action teaser?
No, but I'm just saying there's a lot of people that pre-ordered No Man's Sky, and they're all crying on the internet now.
And it's that good, is what you're saying.
The teaser it touched me, and it touched me like a 5-year-old with a priest, and it's like that Catholic priest. You know, every show I'm on, I have to actually start screwing with our audience, so I just alienated like 2/3 of them niggas. So, but when it comes to this, though, it looks so good. I don't want it to be bad. If it is bad, I am promising right here and now, I will write a better script, because screw you, you can't mess this up. Give me a Rambo lookalike, give me an Arnold Schwarzenegger a Terminator lookalike.
Well, they're all going to be Korean.
Huh?
They're all going to be Korean, though.
Pretty much. Good. I don't care. Give them guns, make them shoot at aliens. You can't screw that up. Battle. And which one of you asked, is it a movie or a series? I don't know, but
You see, like, for them, they're a lot more hyped up than I am, because I've never played Contra, so I don't know, like, the hype behind it. So if I was somebody new, like, an unsuspecting, like, oh, this seems kind of cool, what should I expect from this series, or, like, from this movie?
buff dudes from the 80s with huge guns shooting aliens.
So, like you said, Arnold Schwarzenegger. And
exactly. Contra is, if I may, it looked like GQ was going to pop on that. The quick history of Contra is that it's the granddaddy of bullet hells, actually, yeah.
It's not really bullet hell. It's more, it's just like a run and gun.
Well, it's a side scroller shoot 'em up and also other things. But either way, it was the first, really amongst the first to do that. But either way, it was noted for being Nintendo hard. It's also where the Konami code came in. Up, up, down, down, left, right, BA, start, you know? And a lot of people use that code to get like 90 lives or 99 lives or whatever. But whatever, it was a run and gun, shoot 'em up, side scroller. It was the granddaddy of them. You know what I mean? I might be wrong, and I'm certain we have people in our audience going, "Well, actually, no, shut up. I don't care. It's a great game." But it is one of those ones that's noted as being the granddaddy of them on the NES 8-bit. You know what I mean? And then Super Contra later on. And there's been spin-offs. There's been other attempts to reboot it, and they've all sucked. But there have been, honest to goodness, sequels that were hella good in the, 32-bit, 64-bit gen? So, you know, it's some good stuff. Contra deserves to have a good treatment when it comes to live action or whatever. I don't know if you guys remember. Do you guys remember Mortal Kombat, the series, back on the USA Network? It was a pretty dope series.
Wasn't that a cartoon?
Yeah.
No, the live action.
There was a live action.
There was a live action Mortal Kombat. It was dope.
There was a TV show?
Yeah. It was based on basically Kung Lao's history or whatever, back in the day.
I've never seen
Kung
that.
Lao.
Yeah, I've only
Check
seen
it out.
I've seen the cartoon.
Seen the cartoon.
And
I don't remember if the cartoon was good.
I've seen like the movie.
I mean, I don't
movies
doubt
are
it. I'm pretty sure there is a show.
Yeah, and it was dope, dude. It was dope as hell. It was on during the era, or shortly after the era of WMAC Masters or whatever. Oh my god, you guys didn't ever watch that either?
I never watched USA.
Your violence content is low. No, that was actually on like UPN or Fox or whatever.
Really? No.
Yeah, it was Saturday morning cartoon kind of stuff. It wasn't a cartoon; it was a live action thing. It was like what WWE is for wrestling. These guys were for martial arts. It was like Mortal Kombat, the light series, but it was good. It was hella good. And I'm just saying. So as far as Contra goes, thank you guys for letting me push on that one, because actually that was GQ Asian Dude's thing. He found that thing, but I ran with it because oh my god. Ugh.
The hype is real.
Don't hurt me, please.
I wouldn't mind a Contra-ish movie with Arnold and Stallone.
Well, basically Terminator.
Because that's them.
Well, the original Predator. Basically.
Yeah.
I mean, isn't that what do you have like the Expendables for? Like
That too, yeah. But this is aliens. I want aliens. I want spread. I want. Oh my god, the spread shot. I want the laser beams that they
I just
had in
hope
that.
this movie, like when this movie comes out, it's actually like stupid. Like it's just so corny and just dumb.
Well, yeah.
like,
So
like the actual like power ups and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yes,
like
I want power-ups.
with CGI effects and stuff like that.
Just make it as video gamey as you can.
Like over
I
the
would.
top.
I would. I could write that. And if they don't do it,
Anyone like remember like that Doom movie with
with the Rock.
yeah,
the Rock
and
was
like
in it.
how they
that,
had like
that movie was
the
dumb.
The only time I liked that movie is when they went first person with it.
Yeah.
That was like the greatest
And
thing in my life.
And that's why I think that movie like redeemed itself, because if it wasn't for that, I think it'd just be another corny movie.
Yeah, but the rest of it
wasn't
was
that like
shit.
another like U-Ball movie too?
I think it was an Icky Balls movie. Yeah, I fucking hate Ooey Ball. I hate
the guy who is known for butchering actual video games.
Let's not forget he did that on purpose, though. That's how he made his money. Because they were doing that arts program in Germany or whatever. So he would just put out these crap movies within a couple of months. That's why he ruined Blood Rain. He just buy. He would buy the IPs on the cheap, like these crap, like House of the Dead. Because you can't tell me that it's not going to be cheap to buy into House of the Dead of all things. And he turned it from an on the rails shooter into a crappy island zombie movie with even worse effects.
Has there ever been like a decent video game to movie adaptation at all?
I want to say Resident Evil, but that might cause people to hate me.
The problem with video game movies is that
The original Resident Evil.
they don't follow the game like 100%.
They don't need to. It could be argued. Now, here's the thing. I'm actually talking as a musician as well as a book writer here, as an author. It doesn't need to follow exactly, but it is best when they do. Whenever you see a take on it, you get Super Mario Brothers, the original fuck up of a movie to begin with, right there. Translation movie.
Like I see like an issue being like you're taking like it's like a 14-hour game with the story and converting it down to 2 hours or like an hour and 45 minutes.
Yeah, well, that's no different than I'm pretty sure a lot of people that read Lord of the Rings hate the movies.
Well, I wouldn't say Lord of the Rings, because Lord of the Rings has 7 10-hour movies, so it actually does pretty good in that sense.
It's like, do you spend 3 hours watching the movie or 3 hours reading the book?
In that sense, yeah. But consider Harry Potter, for instance. Even though that's got a crap ton of movies in it, each one is based around a book, except for the last one, Deathly Hallows, which was they took one book and turned it into 2 movies. And even then, the fan base has complained very vociferously in some places that they didn't do enough to cover the books. That there's a lot in the books that they left out in the movies.
Well, they also changed, in the Hobbit movie, Legolas wasn't even supposed to be there.
Yeah, but those are also, if you ask me, little things to complain about. An author's, a creator's take on a IP is one thing. If they follow it strictly and they screw up, then they're just a bad creator. They're not doing it right. But for the most part, at the same time, I also sometimes, mind you, don't like to see direct translations. Like, for instance, anime to live action. You know what I mean? Or manga to anime in that case. I don't know. Say.
One of the best, I'd say, adaptation, 100% faithful. Is actually 300. If you actually
the comic.
If you actually put up the comic next to the scenes in the movies, it's actually 99% accurate.
The sequel doesn't exist.
Cool.
Yeah,
pretty cool.
Because I saw the movie and I was like, "Oh, what's this?" I heard this was a comic, so I picked up I read the comic and I was like, "Man, this scene looks really familiar." The way that it was shot, it was exactly what the comic panel looked like.
Let's throw another Frank Miller out there. Another Frank Miller one, Sin City. Certain ones were in that, as far as I remember, were directly from the comics. I just don't remember which ones right now because I'm screwed.
Oh, man. I remember watching the first one and I liked it. Then they made a sequel to it, right?
Yeah, but I don't want to talk about A Dame to Kill For. And same thing with the sequel to 300, Rise of an Empire. I don't think I've even seen Rise of an Empire, or I have, and I just disliked it so much that I'm trying to forget. A Dame to Kill For.
Rise of the Empire was hilarious. That's all I gotta say about that movie. It wasn't a bad movie. It just wasn't.
That was the second movie.
Yeah.
It just wasn't. It wasn't a bad movie.
Yeah, it didn't capture the magic of the first one. I thought the only thing I really thought by watching the second one was you know what, that main character or the main antagonist, that girl, was crazy. You know what I'm talking about, right? The one that's trying to conquer The Spartans.
Yeah,
I haven't seen the sequel, so I don't know.
It was the bad guy.
Are you talking about Xerxes from the first one?
No, the villain in the second 300 movie was like
The second 300.
and spoilers here is
Spoiler
was a kid that was like abandoned by like
Yeah, like abused and tortured
So they went with,
and stuff like that.
so like she grew up being raised by like the Persians.
Yeah, so she was like
but she was Greek.
Wait, is this a
she-
prequel or a sequel?
She was pretty much like one of those girls you would so like she's psychologically she's broken, so she's all kinds of messed up.
Chaos.
But she's like one of those girls that was attractive enough. You know what? I might actually risk sleeping with crazy.
I like that. I like that. Usually I'm the one who says this kind of stuff. I like that.
I think I'm good.
So
I don't know if she sounds nice. If Adam likes her, I might like her.
I mean, like it's not so much that I liked her, like because like she's the type of girl you would sleep with, and you're like, you know what, you'll probably chop your balls off the next day. But like it might be like one of those things that's kind of like worth it.
So she's Puerto Rican? Anyway, so I was a Cuban.
But I don't know what she was or the actor's name, but
Malakas.
I was like, you know what, crazy girls might be actually attractive for once.
I mean,
But
what-
I was about to derail it with talk about a crappy sequel to a movie that it just doesn't need to have a sequel, and I completely forgot. So never mind. It was much like once again like it was a great movie, and then they did a sequel, and it's like, why did you do that? Why did you even try to milk that? That wasn't right.
I mean, because they gotta milk it. That's
Yeah.
Why are you answering your own question?
But you know, if you want to, let's bring it back to that translation issue, which I find that to actually be an interesting thing. For instance, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure has a pretty good live action translation, so I've heard of part 5. Part 5. But you know what was terrible from the manga to the anime? Berserk 2016. Screw you if you think the CGI on that looks anywhere remotely
it's not
good.
I don't like it either.
Terrible.
I love the 80s version way better.
Yes. I even like the movies they did. The CGI movies they did was better than what they do in 2016 Berserk. It was terrible. It was just a absolutely horrifying offering, and it worries me that they even thought that somebody greenlit this. Somebody said, "Hey, yeah, this is going to look good. Let's do that."
Would you say that's quite visceral?
Oh,
Oh, I love your forced segues.
yeah, look at that segue there.
So in gaming news, folks, Visceral Studios, the studio that brought us Dead Space, specifically Dead Space 1, 2, and maybe 3. I don't think it was 3. I think it was
sure?
1 and 2. 3 was... I tried not to give them credit for 3 because 3 was Call of Dead of Duty. It was a way different game than the first 2.
I have to admit my bias. My first Dead Space game was Dead Space 3.
You know, like
I got it for $2 though.
I'm gonna have to interrupt you right over there. I feel like it's like a trend with EA. It's like you get like the first game from let's say Mass Effect.
I was gonna say Mass Effect.
or Dead like the original Dead Space stuff like that. Perfect game. Second game, EA kind of funnels them a little bit. It's still a pretty good game. It's still respectable. Probably the best in the series. Between 1 and 2. Then for whatever reason, the third game always introduces multiplayer, loot boxes, and like it completely loses sight of like what the game was like originally about.
Yeah.
You get like this like nice crescendo upwards. You hit like a little peak. Then the third cycle comes down and it just tanks
Downward spiral into hell.
in quality.
Yeah. And then you have Mass Effect Andromeda, which we will never talk about on this show or any show that I'm connected to, unless it's to tear it a new one and feed it to the dogs.
But let's go back to like the whole Dead Space thing. So we know this is like we're a bit late for this, but Dead Space 2 cost about $60 million to make, and it's sold about 4 million copies. And
So
it was
each game was like $60.
yeah, so that's 240 million, isn't it?
Pretty much.
Yeah, 4 million copies.
Yeah, 240 million.
Yeah,
And,
that'd be 240 million
apparently
right there.
that wasn't enough.
for
It wasn't profitable.
When
Yeah.
is it? How is that
But-
not profitable? That's
I
like,
wonder how that's broken down to, because part of that, like you have video game industry experience, right?
Yeah, I
with
mean,
stores.
I've worked in the retail side of.
So if you saw if you saw like a brand new game for $60, how much would be your take from it?
So here, let me tell the folks out here in podcast land what the deal is with their $60 purchase. So when you go to a store and you buy a new game, it's about $60, right? It's about $59.99 for a brand new copy of a game, but you're actually not giving your $60 to the store. your store the store's cut is actually probably like $2-4. It's not a big profit margin.
Well, in books, I just want to throw this out there. There's something called deeper discounts. Whenever the major publishers, or indies even for that matter, whenever they sell it to a major book reseller, for instance, Walmart or Barnes & Noble, my favorite, love you. You're talking about like a 40% cut then, you know what I mean? And I mean, the writer will get
the markup on other media is good.
Yeah,
like
but
a pop
video
figure
games
is
are
like
that
$6
low?
to make, but then like they sell it for 14, you're getting like, almost double.
Exactly, but is it really that low for video games though?
Yeah, it's actually low. I look at the cost of how much each game's cost, right?
Yeah.
So let's just say a new copy of Street Fighter V.
Yeah.
It would say cost on the actual like website that we order games from.
Quick note, this podcast doesn't have any affiliation with anybody from Capcom Street Fighter V. This is not an endorsement.
Right. So, anyway, the cost would be like $56.84. And so we sell it for $59, not including the tax.
Yeah.
So it's $5. So like for us to make even remotely a profit, because after operations and all that stuff, we would have to sell like Skyrim levels of every copy of each game.
Scrim.
You know what I'm saying?
Like a limited edition or collector's edition.
No, not even that. Like, do you guys understand how many copies of Skyrim sold on launch?
Too many.
Like a lot.
How many are still
And
selling?
then
You should say.
think about it this way: if a store had 1,000 copies, right? That's like a lot of copies.
Yeah.
Okay, let's just say 100 copies. It's more realistic, right?
Well, that's only like $400 if not $200.
Exactly.
What the?
That's a $400 profit. That's nothing.
Where is all the money going to then?
That is like one minimum wage employee's wage for the week.
Yeah.
So that's why the retail side doesn't really, they don't really make money off the new games. They make money off the used games, and we'll talk about that in a second with GameStop. But that's a different topic. But so you have to think about it. If you're able to cut, if you're able to physically and like graphically cut a game into pieces to show you like, oh, this portion goes to this department,
Yeah.
the art department, the sound department, $60 isn't anything to a one copy sold isn't anything to EA.
One copy sold, yeah, but 4 million though.
I know.
Yeah.
But think about everyone's wages, cost.
And how many of them are even getting paid though?
You know what I'm
Remember, there was that
saying?
scandal not but like 5 years ago where some major publisher was literally not paying their developers.
Yeah, that was actually pretty close. It's Activision.
That was Activision.
And
Yeah, that was Activision.
that was the whole Infinity Ward thing where
Yeah.
the guys that made Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, which, by the way, great game when it came out. It was a successor to one of the best-selling games of all time. But Activision was like, hey, we're not paying you because the game that you made isn't exactly what we wanted it to be. And I think that moment was, and of course this is all speculation because I wasn't there. But I think that was the moment where Activision was like, we need to start doing back-end transactions after the initial sale.
And that's also something to consider as well, is not only are we talking about the cost per disc per full game, but there is now, it's almost, which we talked about this in the last episode, it's almost guaranteed day one bullshit. DLC, loot boxes, all that stuff, cash grabs.
Well, you gotta remember too, like that game cost $60 million to make, but how much of that was advertising?
True.
How much of that was cost of development? Like
how much of that is actual print physical cost?
Because like they're a company that's based out of California, and California is not a very cheap place to live. So I was looking up that I guess like your average salary for like a pretty well paid game developer would be anywhere between like 10 to 16 grand a month. And on top of this, we're talking about how they shut down Visceral as well. We'll get that in a minute.
Yeah, we'll get back to that in a minute.
And they moved all their assets to Montreal, which is like I think a third of the costs. So it's cheaper to develop a game in Canada than it is over here, and at least in California.
That's disgusting.
I mean, that makes sense. I mean, and that's why they have multiple studios everywhere, and each studio usually has some sort of assignment to do.
But
like for example, like Assassin's Creed is made in Montreal, I think.
Yeah.
But then like like Watch Dogs is made in like San Francisco.
Yeah.
You know, like so that's why it's like that. And
It
one
makes-
game will have a bigger budget than the other.
Yeah. It makes me wonder too. It's like, because you said like you'd buy the game for what, $55, James?
It's $60.
Yeah.
Every MSRP on any brand new game is $60.
Yeah, I mean for the consumer, but you yourself would buy it for about $55.
Yeah, the cost of it's probably like 55, 57.
So I wonder if, like, from like a business perspective, if EA is like, okay, this game cost $60 million to make, we from the $60 million, X amount of this went towards developers, X amount of this went towards advertising. Now, after we pay these two off, we need to at least hit this goal over here for this to be a profitable game.
I'm telling you, if you make a pie chart out of a Blu-ray disc, I'm pretty sure the profit per disc is like very small when it comes down to developers and publishers.
I'm certain that information is actually out there. I'm fairly certain that, because it sounds very familiar to me. I think I've seen a graph
And this
like
is very
that.
this is my speculation, because like I'm trying to think this from like a business point of view, because like to me,
They're going by volume.
But at the same time,
but like you'd think 4 million copies is a big amount of, you know, it's a very
it's
big
a
amount.
$240 million return. Well, at least as far as ultimately. But I do need to point out very strongly still the morality of profit. There is such a thing as morality of profit. When is it enough?
It's
You
not
know?
enough.
That's
Well,
thing.
the way I see it is, if I was a developer, if I was the big wig at EA, and I'm not, I would say, do I have enough money to make another game?
See, that's a normal, common sense, even viewpoint on it. In some cases, these guys are making money, whether it be DLC, whether it be squeezing out profits from like a 5-6-year-old game.
No,
Todd Howard of Skyrim.
I think there's more to it than just sales, to be honest with you. I think the other portion of it has to do with, like, you know, I'd say in specifically this article talks about Dead Space 2, and we know about Dead Space 2 had a multiplayer.
Yes,
Right,
it was,
kind of, and it was like the most trash multiplayer. Like one person was the scientist, and the other one was like the necromorph.
the monsters. Yeah, it was monsters
Yeah,
versus
and like,
humans.
but the thing is, like, you know, multiplayer sells units because, you know, like, not only do I have to buy a copy, Adam has to buy a copy. You know, you have to buy a copy.
Yeah.
So that's three sales right there. It's smart. I get it.
Still trash multiplayer though. It's
Right,
trash
but if it's garbage and it, you know, and nobody wants to play that multiplayer, it's still not going to sell copies.
and it'll also make it look bad. You know, there's actually this is actually something that reminded me, and thank you, Zeph, for even bringing this all up. By the way, something I pointed out earlier in our pre-conversation. You know, one thing that this has done is we created a shadow market of post-mortems on YouTube. This is good business for YouTubers. I'm just saying, there is a crap ton, like all of them, from Jimquisition. The only one that on my list that hasn't weighed in on it is Bro Team Pill, which I love them, and I'm certain he'll have his own little hilarious way of putting it. But this post-mortem business, I mean, when Visceral closed down, when EA made their move, like, immediately the next, like, I think that night the Jimquisition had something out, you know? And there's people out there with, like, half an hour long. They're just going over the entirety of Dead Space, all 3 of them. Like, I found several new YouTubers for me because of that mess, you know?
You know, the funny thing is, like, we were before we started like this podcast right now, we were talking about like what EA does. Like, it'll find a developer that's hot.
Yeah.
You know, I'll find like a developer that's hot. The game is popular. They like you know, seduce them to come join them. After they get a couple of good titles and they milk them out, they take them back to the graveyard and pop.
Right in the back of the skull.
Right in the back of the skull. Another corpse to the pile of like dead companies.
EA is the succubus of the gaming industry.
Yeah.
It's like it's like a massive like genocide of like other gaming companies. You know,
It's kind of funny because, like, I've been playing video games since I was like 5 or 6 years old, and started on my Nintendo. And I recently played a game on my stream, and it was developed and published by EA, and it had nothing to do with Madden. It wasn't a sports game.
right?
It wasn't like a AAA title. It was about this poltergeist that was dressed like a rockabilly, and the mission was to scare the rich white people out of their house.
Was that not my Zombies Ate My Neighbors, but
No,
which game was
it's a
that?
game
Sounds
called The
familiar.
Haunting.
The Haunting.
Sounds very
It's
familiar.
on
to me.
Sega Genesis. If you haven't played it, I suggest you play it if you want something different. But it's made by EA, and I'm pretty sure that game did not sell as many copies as they think it would. But they definitely were taking more risks back then. But I'm pretty sure they were also looking at the numbers of each sports title they sold, because they still sold Madden and FIFA and NHL.
Madden.
And they're probably seeing there was more return on the sports stuff.
Easily, because you can recycle the assets.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's part of it.
There's been a good meme every year. It's all right, guys, it's time for us to develop Madden 2019. What you see them is they go on the picture, delete the 8, put a 9. All right, guys, see you next year. See you next year.
And
I've seen that meme.
And that's true. It's cheaper to make because the assets are already there.
But there's something to be said about not all AAA games or game publishers or developers started AAA. You know what I mean? One of the things that really annoys the crap out of me is whenever I hear about modern day executive thought and they want to consider video games quote unquote traditional. Video games in general only started 30, 20 years ago or something like that. I would say 30 years ago, you know what I mean? In the 80s, we got the NES, you know what I mean? I'm just saying.
Are you going into the topic of video games as a service?
No, it is not.
Because that seems to be the next big thing now. Last podcast we talked about loot boxes, and I've actually looked into it more than more into it from previous. And there's actually people taking they're getting lawyers to go after Activision and Overwatch and stuff like that. And it sounds crazy. You're looking at me with that crazy face. What are you talking about? I looked into. I was watching Funhouse's podcast not too long ago, and they talked to they called him a video game lawyer, which is cool. I think it's really awesome.
What?
So that the guy they were talking to specifically deals and does business with laws that are video game related.
What?
So what he was saying is that technically playing Overwatch is a gamble. The loot box system in Overwatch is a gamble because you put time and money into it, right?
Yeah.
And then what you're getting is random. It's a chance to get something in of value. Now the difference is that the main difference that it's not gambling is because the items you get you cannot sell it.
Well, it depends. Well, I guess not in that game.
But he argued that you can sell it, given if you sell your account.
Ah.
So if you want that Symmetra skin, that's the Halloween special skin. You put money into it, and you eventually get the skin. You could sell that skin, your account that has that skin in it, and that's officially gambling. But the other thing that he noted was that it really, really depends on the state and on the judge. Because every state has their own kind of weird teetering.
What's gambling?
Yeah, what's gambling, what's not gambling.
Here's the thing. When it comes to that, I will almost always and forever argue that if I buy the video game, it's mine. I own the game, whether it's digital or physical. But
you've never read the manual in any of your games, have
you? or the EULA, right?
I understand.
Do you know? Here, I'm gonna blow your mind right now.
Uh-oh.
Do you know you have a PS3, right?
I do.
Okay. Do you know you're on your PS3, on the super long terms and conditions?
Nobody ever reads those.
You actually don't own your system.
I know.
So if you modify it in a certain way, you're actually breaking the terms and conditions of it, even though you bought it and own it.
But here's the thing: when it comes to purchasing anything and ownership of anything,
that doesn't matter because you're buying their product.
Yeah, you're pretty much agreeing.
Yeah.
When you accept the terms and conditions, you're pretty much signing that you don't own. Either
if you didn't read the terms and conditions and it says
nobody ever reads those.
Technically, here's what it is. They're actually leasing that hardware to you to use to play games on.
Well, here's my thing about it. If they really want to go head to head with this, I will go to Boston where they have in the harbor crates upon crates of PS4 now, isn't it? And I will toss those sons of bitches into the ocean dressed as Crash Bandicoot screaming, "Get good." Because where I come from...
Not Solaire?
What?
Not dressed like Solaire?
No, I may be dressed as Solaire. Here in America...
Get good.
Get good. We own. I'm just saying, if I put my money on something, I own it. And now, even let's say that they want to take me to court on that because
I don't disagree with you.
I know.
On a moral sense.
On a moral sense.
Yeah.
But I also understand from a business sense that every single time we sign, which they do multiple, even with the PS Triple, they still do an updated terms of service agreement, which I just signed myself but like 2 months ago because I just didn't care because nobody reads those things.
That's why you should read everything before you sign it. You don't know what you're getting into, so be sure to read.
So going back to the conversation about the Overwatch loot box system being a gamble. The biggest real example the lawyer said was that there was a kid that apparently spent $30,000 on loot boxes.
Good God.
And the parents were like, wow, this is a problem. And if it's a problem for us, it's a problem for other people. So are loot box systems in video games, I guess, teaching kids to gamble?
Is this going to be a thing for this season?
You know what? You could think of it this way. The way you could look at it is that maybe you're more predisposed to gambling than, say, person A, and maybe Blizzard, Activision, EA might take advantage of that. Because you put something in and you get a reward for it.
You put money in. That should be a very specific thing at that point. Yeah.
If you put money in and get a reward, so it's like a feeling like
it's a Skinner box.
Yeah.
Yeah. I need to throw this out there, and you may disagree with me because out of all of us, Zeph actually is a father. So you may disagree with me on this. But
I'm a lot of people's daddies. That's all I'm saying.
Right?
Especially on Overwatch. What was saying?
Right.
Wait, aren't you a Mercy main?
No, man.
I guess everyone likes to call it. There's a big trend of like people calling me dad. Like this, like either in gaming or like whatever. I'm just like I'm only like a dad to my son.
I think what they're calling you is daddy. That's the difference.
Yeah.
Choke me harder, daddy.
It's all the way you act. I mean, they call Soldier 76 Daddy 76.
Oh yeah, well it's because in the fanon he's the dad of.
Well, it's all how he talks. His emotes in the game.
As you were saying before we get sidetracked.
Kids.
But the reason why I'm bringing this up is because I actually put it forth that the onus is on the parents.
Oh yeah,
not the kids.
All right. Well, okay. So lawyer again.
Oh, okay.
Talked about that too.
Okay.
And that's why he's actually on the parent side. He's actually not defending the companies. Thank God for once a lawyer on our side. He is saying it is completely up to the judge. Because here's the problem, right? A lot of the judges are probably 800 years old. They're super old and ancient. Like they've probably seen it where on the news people had different water fountains.
I was wondering how you're going to present that.
So here's the problem is that because they were right. The example they used was a pack of like Magic the Gathering cards or baseball cards, right? Whatever you get in there's a chance of getting a good card and a bad card, and those cards are worth different values. Kind of the same thing in Overwatch. You open a loot box, you get either a premium skin or a sticker that you don't care about, right? And if you played Overwatch, duplicates are the best things on the planet.
Yeah.
So what he was saying is that the judge that will take this case will be like, okay, well, let's open up a pack of baseball cards. I don't feel like I'm gambling because I know what's in there, right?
Yeah.
Now, if you go to the judge, hey, judge, open this loot box on this video game, they're probably gonna be like, it's just a game. It doesn't matter. You know?
Well, actually, that would be best then for the consumer in that case in a judgment like that. But I do need to point out, though, something that needs to be stated in this situation. Video games as a medium is a cross-generational art. It's a cross-generational platform. It is. Many of us who were started playing, in this room even, who started playing back in the day, now have kids who are joining in. It's kind of like the Iraq War.
Not my kid. I think I'd rather have like my kid do other things besides video gaming, personally.
What?
When he's old enough, like to, after he's explored, I want him to be like an actual kid. I want him to be like outside, having fun. Not
and I agree with that because I feel like I was that kid.
I was balanced.
I wanted to go outside and play, and I did do all those things. And I brought friends to come play with me at my house.
I mean, if you look at it though, like nowadays, like I feel like I see every kid have like a, like either on a mobile phone glued to it.
Well, here's
or
the real
an
question:
iPad.
Is that the kid's fault or is that the parents' fault?
That's the parents' fault.
Yeah,
Yeah, again, the
go.
onus
But,
on
but
the
at the
parents.
same time, though, like I'd rather have my kid, have like an outdoor experience. Then when he's old enough to play, let him play.
I want my kid to get beat up.
What?
Like I want him to get like just his face pummeled. I know this sounds terrible.
Actually, that's kind of parallel to what I was going to mention, where I was like, send their ass to camp.
No,
There
I
you go.
want him like, and I'm gonna be like, why'd you get beat up? Oh, he was picking on me. I'd be like, oh, why was he picking on you? I'm gonna make him understand why this happened. I'm gonna develop a sociopath.
Don't apologize for the kid.
He'll
Teach your
like
kid
analyze
beat their ass.
everything. But yeah, before we get sidetracked over here, you're saying games as a service.
Games as a service because it's the games that keep on giving. Ubisoft is probably the number one guilty company of doing this.
Bethesda.
No,
For real?
actually not.
What? For real? You
Think about it. Why do you say that?
Well, in Bethesda's case, it's because they are constant. Well, their control over the modding community, for one thing. These guys are flat out. Did we talk about this last episode?
No.
I think we did. They are flat out stealing from the mod community.
But that's a different
proven
topic. That's a
practically.
different topic, though. I would say we could talk about it as like a different topic.
Oh, my bad.
No, I'm just saying the games as a service which means it's a game that you have to consistently update yourself in to have a modern experience. So which means the number one guilty party for this is actually League of Legends. And I know people here love League of Legends. The internet is all about League of Legends. You go on Twitch and League of Legends is the number one viewed game for streaming because that's how it is.
If you go on xnxx.com, it's also the number
Now
one.
here's the thing. That game is free. Right? That game has cost $0 for you to buy. You just download it and then you play it. Now, how does that game make money? Simple.
Loot.
Skins.
Skins and loot boxes, right?
Not even loot boxes. Skins. So if you want your character to look a specific way, you just have to buy the skin.
But won't you be at a disadvantage there, like starting out, unless you invest money in buying characters? Like I assume you could buy characters, right?
Yeah.
But let's not forget that League of Legends is based off of Dota as well, and Dota already had a fan base built up from World of Warcraft, Blizzard, whatever.
Well, it uses like characters from World of
Yeah,
Warcraft.
it had like legacy advertising basically. It
But,
had a
but
legacy
Dota
audience.
is based off Valve.
Yeah.
Gearbox or whatever. But anyway, like the point is that the game is free to play.
But that's a different model though than standard video games, which you have nowadays.
No, here's the part that is
Uh-oh.
here's the part that you're not getting is that in League of Legends, if you want to play as a different character, you have to buy that character, right?
What?
You've never played League of Legends?
I've only played it once, and
Okay, you have
yeah.
to buy that character. Sometimes it rotates it weekly, like this character will be available this week and the next week it won't.
Yeah.
But if you want to play it forever, you have to buy that character. That's why it's free to play.
Interesting.
So now here it goes. They test you. They give you a little taste of each character. Like eventually,
I've seen
it's
that, yeah.
free. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you're like, damn man, I really like that character, and I really want to keep playing it. I want to learn it. I want to master it. I want to get good.
Keep building it, yeah.
Yeah. So I'm afraid I'm gonna have to buy it because I don't want to play him for a week and then like not play him again.
Yeah.
So I think what it's doing, and this is the same thing with games like For Honor, Rainbow Six, and surprisingly, I don't think Overwatch is in this category, but it's close.
Surprisingly. Yeah.
You could probably throw Shadow of Mordor.
Oh, Shadow
yeah.
War is in there because
Yeah,
if you haven't known it yet, you have to buy orcs to defend your fortress. And if the more expensive orcs are the harder ones to kill when you're trying to invade the fortress. So that's pay to win.
Yeah, but quick side note with that, do you know that I found out recently with Shadow of War that let's say if you're like a level 1 character and you bought legendaries or get epics,
Yeah.
they're at your current level. So it's like if you might have like a white sword that's like 5 damage, but if you get an epic from buying or investing money into that game, it's at like 6 damage or 7 damage. So it doesn't even scale to like the level 50
Right.
or whatever. So if you do want to buy it,
level dependent.
yeah.
Yeah.
So you're only screwing yourself if you buy it early.
So it's kind of like Borderlands 2 or further, where with the golden keys, it's best to do that late
Yes.
game, like when you're level 30 or 50, where
Well,
it actually means something.
that's actually
Yeah.
that's
That's
part
actually pretty
of the category of games as a service. But that's the idea that EA wants, where the game keeps on giving. You know what I'm saying? Like the problem. Here's the business market for video games now, and this is 100% true. You get your $60 initial purchase, right? the $5, whatever, it doesn't matter. But how do we make more money from something you've already bought from us?
Season pass, DLC packs, expansion
There
packs.
you go. That's exactly that's why people get mad when they're like, "Oh, I feel like I bought this game.
Well, wait.
I don't have everything in it."
I would argue that because we talked about this I know we talked about this last episode, and we've talked about it before in our past too. It's not even that they're offering these because I mean, in the past, back in the days of the Sega Network, we were always promised extra content later on, and people will be more than happy to, as far as I know, will be more than happy to spend money on extra content so long as it is extra post content. The big issue that we're seeing nowadays is when they cut shit out, like during the development, and go, "Oh, we'll sell this later." You know, it's stuff, or even worse, hiding stuff behind a paywall.
I think that's just a change of culture.
Yeah.
Because if you think about it, like a lot of the stuff, like okay, here's a big example: Street Fighter V. I'm going to use Street Fighter V because I play a lot of fighting games. Costumes in that game you have to buy, and or you can play enough where you have enough fight money, virtual fight money, and then you can buy it. But it takes like hundreds of matches to get like one costume.
Guilty Gear, they do the same thing, especially
right.
opening up
Anyway,
characters.
Yeah. So here's the thing: you have the chance to work for that, which is, I think, it's still appropriate because if you play the game a lot, you are going to get that costume eventually.
Yeah.
Right. But there are games where you have to buy the costume versus being able to unlock it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's why Overwatch is like skidding that fine line because every time you level up, you get a loot box.
Yeah.
You know, and you're just playing the game anyway, so you're not really spending money on it.
But that's not the same thing as what happened with, say, Dragon Age Origins, where Shale's side story, which is obviously cut, and I mean so obvious, you could see the line that they used to cut it.
Have you played Asura's Wrath?
I haven't, but I watched the quote-unquote movie on YouTube.
Okay, so...
It's 3 hours.
That is the number... To me, that is the number one notorious game for DLC. Because, and this is the reason why, how do you feel about playing a game, enjoying it, you know, it's a fun game, entertaining game, you beat it, and then they go, hey, you want to see the ending?
Oh my god.
It's going to cost you $15.
Dude.
That's exactly what happened with Asura's Wrath.
I didn't realize, I actually honestly didn't know this. I would have lost my bloomin' frickin' mind, and I'm easily enraged to begin with.
You know what I could see happening is that I think more and more as we go on to like AAA developments and developers and stuff like that, it's probably going to be like you're going to get like half of a game and half of like a market experiment.
Yeah.
And it's like, here's your story, but we want to add all of these microtransactions over here, and let's see what we can get away with.
You know what's funny? Go ahead.
Oh no, that does remind me of two examples of something like that. Dead Space 3, where the real ending was hidden in a DLC that you had to buy later on, and which wasn't even that good. But also Fallout 3 and Brotherhood of Steel, where they changed the ending, the original crap ending to begin with. They changed it to turn into an open world thing if you bought Brotherhood of Steel. And it's that's not the practice that we were promised.
I think as the gaming industry progresses, I think you're going to get more like meaningful content from like indie developers than like with AAA developers. They'll probably go more towards like the multiplayer route. You know,
you're not wrong because the way the philosophy behind single player is to tell a story.
Yes.
Right? And that's not profitable because one, a lot of people will play, but two, we have YouTube. People don't want to invest $60 on a single player; they'll watch it. You know, and that's another problem in the gaming industry now is that YouTube kind of is ruining the experience, but at the same time, it's also profiting the experience too, right?
Yeah.
But that's another topic to talk about.
Yeah, the shadow market I brought up earlier. Yeah.
Anyway, I lost my train of thought.
Sorry.
But the point is that the gaming industry is now going to be focused on how do we get more money from you. And actually, there's been an article saying that EA, in the boardroom, like the talks of development and making games, they want to take all your money. That's like, they're not even apologetic about it. They're like, we want to empty out their wallet. Yeah. That's exactly how they are. And that's the culture of their company. And is it a bad thing that a company wants to make money off you? You know, because you have the choice to buy it. They're not forcing it on you.
Well, hypothetically, everyone's gonna make money off of you regardless, because you buy stuff anyways, whether it's, to eat or like to clothes, stuff like that.
I think it's what they sell is more important versus like if they sell it, because like Asura's Wrath, to get the real ending, you have to buy it. That's BS. But if you want a cool like costume to make him look like Ryu, I think that's okay if you want to buy it.
Well, yeah,
but
there's nothing wrong with cosmetic changes.
Exactly.
Yeah,
The
cosmetic
cosmetic
sales,
changes,
like,
right?
who cares about cosmetic
Like,
sales?
honestly, like I said, honestly, I do think from a business standpoint, you'll probably see a lot of AAA developers going multiplayer only.
Yeah, and
think
you're
about
right.
it. It's easy to maintain a multiplayer base. You throw out a map every couple of weeks.
If, the thing with multiplayer games is that if you put the pros and cons of multiplayer and single player, there is way more pros in multiplayer when it comes to the developer side, because one pro for the player side is every time they log on and play multiplayer, it's a different experience, right?
Yeah.
Now here's the thing: they feed off that. Oh, it's going to be a different experience today, and then what do we offer them to make that a more comfortable experience? I guess we give them more cosmetics, we give them another map, like what Zephyl was saying. Maybe a new shiny weapon,
Guns, stuff like that. Yeah.
I was thinking
stuff like
Destiny
that.
with that. Yeah.
I would like to make a quick transition to the Activision patent. They had it in 2015, where they had a system. They didn't implement it, but they patented the system.
Oh yeah, I actually have that article up right now.
Yeah.
And I was actually going to talk about that.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
Go
take it
Ninja,
off.
go Ninja, go.
Activision decided to pretty much buy or patent something that is it's kind of like an algorithm. So the way to simply put, viewers, is that this program they're going to implement in their future games, or they're testing it right now, air quotes, is that, let's just say I'm playing a game and I like to snipe, right? Like we'll use Destiny, right?
Okay.
I like sniper rifles. I like to keep back and support like Zephyl here while he's running and gunning, right?
Yeah.
Let's just say one day I'm going to log on to Destiny by myself, right? What it's going to do now is it knows that I like to use sniper rifles. So it's going to matchmake me with another guy that has a really cool sniper rifle.
I read about this!
And
I know what we're talking about now.
it's like, I feel like I'm at a brothel. Yes! And they're like, hey, we have this for you.
Yeah.
What do you think?
And so what their plan is, since James got that experience, whoa, that guy just totally kicked my butt with that amazing gun. I'm actually now tempted to go buy loot boxes to get a chance for that gun.
So I think in
pay to win.
In short, what it is, it's a marketing and / advertising algorithm for your gaming experience.
Then also with that algorithm, if you did end up buying those loot boxes, they may match you with people that are actually pretty bad. So you feel like the gun you got was amazing.
And that is so anti-consumer. I'm telling, it's pro-business, but I'm telling you this right now. I don't care if I'm the only fool in this room that believes this. I'm telling you this right now. There's always going to be a bloody uprising over that, because that is bullshit on a level that cannot be compared.
Strategically, from a financial point of view, that's really smart. You can't admit that. It's really smart.
It's super smart, because
it's good business. But it's going to piss a lot of people off.
Here's the thing, that I guess statement where they're saying you don't know you're being manipulated.
I think we all know we're being manipulated with something.
Well, now you know. You didn't know anything about that.
Yeah.
No, I didn't. I did know. I had read about this because you guys posted that article.
Go ahead. It's really smart, but is it ethical?
No, it's morally bankrupt.
It's not ethical, but from a financial standpoint, it's phenomenally smart.
I mean, that's just pretty much why we have laws.
Do you know
ethics just go out the window?
Do you know what else is smart business but is ethically, morally bankrupt? Selling crack rock in a parking lot of a Walmart.
Well,
they know
that. That's why they made it illegal. That's kind of how that works.
There's good business. You can say that you're fulfilling a business. You can say that you're fulfilling a need by being a pimp and beating hoes, but that doesn't make it good. That doesn't make it morally acceptable.
I know. But hey, that's the nature of the industry now.
Yeah, I guess we're all them hoes.
You guys ever seen that movie Gamer?
No.
with Gerard Butler.
No, I have to watch that.
Yeah.
So it's like this kid that when he puts on his virtual headset, he controls like a real person.
I have no strings to hold me down. Terry Crews
yeah,
in that.
yeah.
Yeah, I've seen that one. Yeah, I remember
so
now.
it's like it's kind of, but like the whole environment of that movie, the whole like kind of the immersion was that like they're shoving product in your face everywhere.
Yeah.
So it's no different. That's exactly what our gaming industry
like,
is turning into.
It was bound to happen realistically if you think about it. Like no matter what you do, you're always kind of being tracked for what you like. Like on Facebook.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Facebook. Any
Listening
websites,
to conversations.
Yeah.
Aggregate marketing. Yeah.
Websites you visit, stuff like that. Like I don't know how they do it, but if I look up suits on Amazon or like shoes on Amazon,
cookies.
The next thing I know, like when I go to a website, Adidas shoes or Ochidono suits.
But dude, that's actually aggregate marketing. That's actually been a thing for a small while now, especially once Facebook and Google went hand in hand. Like, if you go anywhere now, you're going to see it on Twitter. You're going to see it on Facebook. That's the whole point to aggregate marketing. And that's mostly, as far as I remember, Google.
Yeah.
But it's not like Facebook and Twitter ain't making money from that either.
So this is just the aggregate marketing in video game.
Yes, that's exactly it. Like I'm sure they have.
That's aggressive, though. That's aggressively so.
I'm sure they have enough data on you where they know. Okay, with this demographic, if we put out these loot boxes, we'll probably get these people buying it.
But
like that.
the difference is, though, there's one thing to constantly put it out there like subliminal messages like smoke, smoke, are you smoking yet? Versus pitting you up against somebody who is superior, not in gameplay, but simply because they bought the loot boxes. You know, that is not a good model.
You don't know what's happening.
Yeah, like how would you know though? Like how would you know?
Well, articles are out about it now, so we all know about it.
I know, but there's also people who are they gonna care?
I would think so.
I mean, like realistically, how would you know that if this did pass and they did implement it? How would you actually know this was happening? Like you might with me with whatever games I play, I have awesome days and I have bad days. Yeah. There are days where like I'm an MLG guy, and there are days where I'm just like, how do I move forward?
Let me ask. Is the game in question, can you actually see the gear of the other person? I think that would also be a very important...
Like in Destiny, you can inspect the other characters.
Yeah. Well, that would tell you right off the bat. If you're having consistent patterns of bad games, and you're like, what's going on here? And you've been checking out I mean, I would note a pattern like that. If I look at the gear of the other guy, if I have that ability...
But you might be one out of how many million, though?
You
like, how many people are like focusing on the game, like, I notice a pattern here. Or what's happening?
You do have a point, because I am a freak like that.
You know, like there are people like who just come home.
It's like, I mean, this is like a more intricate version of like, how do we know when someone's cheating in like Overwatch? You know, on PC.
Yeah.
Right? It's like we don't know. Are they using an aimbot?
Actually,
when all their kills are headshots, maybe.
It's easy to find out if anyone's cheating. If you're losing, the opposite team is cheating.
That's the average excuse. Right? Yeah. Anyway, more angry, and I don't know if this is angry news or not. But speaking of video game companies, iRoll.
iRoll?
Yeah. GameStop. Oh boy.
Oh!
GameStop.
Yes!
We were at full circle here, guys. So GameStop decided to turn into a Blockbuster.
This is what happens when you don't just sell me Adler Totally the way I asked. Okay.
Long story short, GameStop is now doing a Pro Pass membership for $60. You get 6 months of unlimited rentals of any used game in their store.
So $10 a month up front, basically.
I both like laughed and kind of like shook my head at this article because like I laughed because I was like I consistently, when I was working in video game retail, I consistently said, man, we'd make so much more money if we just rented this stuff out.
Yeah.
Like, that's exactly what I said.
Well, considering that you're only making $2 of a new
that's
sale.
What I'm saying. And what I'm saying is that when you rent something out, you have potentially, that item that you're renting can make you more money than if you were selling it once.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
It's genius, right?
Yeah.
So, like, and from a business standpoint, and, you know, and we're all entrepreneurs here, and I think that this is a great idea.
It is.
Plus, it's consumer friendly because it enables the customer to rent any game in a store that's used.
And it is ethically leasing a game as a service. I like to point out.
Now, here's the thing: at the end of 6 months, if they want to keep a game, they can, which is another great thing, right? But I just think it's kind of funny that before the whole trade in your video games, buy video games. We had rental stores. We
Yeah,
had
like,
Blockbuster.
I was saying like
We have
like,
GameFly.
Wait, I was like, isn't this like a ghetto ass Blockbuster?
Yeah. So here's the thing.
I love that.
We just, like I said, we've gone full circle. That's exactly what it is. So they just started realizing we're not making enough money. So how do we make money with the stuff we already have?
Considering the shady practices of GameStop to begin with, how are they not making money to begin with? I'm just saying, and this is something that's like well known about GameStop.
Well, if
you
you
know,
think about it, man, like think about it this way: look at the way the industry is going. The need to go to a store to pick up something physically is probably going to decline.
yeah,
You have the convenience now of the internet. You have the convenience of buying stuff digitally. I have the convenience if I want to buy something physically, I just go to Amazon.com.
GameFly, like I said earlier,
have it
yeah.
shipped to my
I'm
door.
gonna throw some knowledge at you guys right now.
Uh-oh.
You guys probably don't know.
You know,
Kill us,
So
blow our minds.
you got, and I like what you guys are saying because that's what probably a lot of people say. Where is their money going?
Yeah,
But a big thing that you guys don't know is that GameStop is its own distributor. And if you guys don't know what that means, when I used to work in video game retail, when we ordered a video game, like an order of video games, we had to go to a distributor that's to sell us those games. Now, GameStop has its own distribution, meaning that they're just not a chain of game stores. They are the people that give their own games, and then meaning that there's another department they have to pay for, shipping, freight, and also they also get exclusives, rights to specific things, so they got to fork up money for that too.
well, that's also where you get pre-orders and such.
There's
right?
a lot of money coming out of GameStop, and I think the problem is that, what Zeffel was saying is that part of it is people just don't want to buy hard copies anymore. When they do want to buy hard copies, they want to buy the limited edition.
Yeah,
but like
special boxes.
But if the game itself is no different, they're just gonna download it on their system.
I'm actually not arguing against that. I'm not even going to suggest otherwise because it's true. Every year there's more and more of a trend towards digital games. Whether it be through Steam, whether it be through the PlayStation Market or whatever have you. You know what I mean? Trust me, I do understand, and that pattern has been set there for the past 10 years even.
Yeah, I just think there's really not much on this news except that they're gonna start doing rentals, which is hilarious.
But I find it interesting that they're going the way of Blockbuster because ultimately we all know what happened to Blockbuster.
Well, I mean, here's the thing.
It's ancient ruins.
If whatever they're doing now isn't working out, and I think this is more profitable for the company overall because if you look at any GameStop, you'll notice that there's more nerd garbage, like nerd swag, than actual video games.
Yeah.
Because those sell more. They have a higher profit margin.
yeah,
But also-
it'll definitely work out. I think. I don't know how well, but you're always going to have the people who will sign up for it and just never use it.
True.
And
Or they might not take advantage of it.
that's the consumer's loss, but their gain.
That's kind of
Yeah.
like a gym in that sense because,
It's like a gym membership. Like
yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, and that's exactly what it is, and I think it's clever. At the same time, I just find it hilarious that we're like going back to our roots.
Yeah, full circle.
And it's funny because it's like history is recycling itself. First, like the big retro, resurrection.
The retro
Now
wave.
we're going back to rental stores. Like, what's next?
I'm wondering about the numbers though. If would it be cheaper to rent from GameStop than say GameFly once again? I ain't trying to shill here, but I'm just saying GameFly already rents games, but there's also time involved to ship it to you and back.
That's the thing with this is like you can keep. If let's just say you do the Power Pass.
Yeah.
Someone trades in a used copy of like Destiny 2, right? You buy it or you rent it. You can keep it for 6 months.
But then there's also what about DLC and everything else? Let's say you get a vanilla version of.
It's not going to affect that. Like you.
Well, here's the thing: it's a win-win because that money that they buy DLC for goes to the publisher.
Yeah, then they would have to buy the excess stuff.
And I think that's why they're doing it because it's a mutual understanding between the two conflicting ideologies.
Yeah, because I mean, isn't like modern day AAA publishers now hating all over GameStop? I remember not but like last year, not but like 6 months ago.
They probably hate used game sales.
Yeah,
in general.
there was discussion about how Sony, PlayStation, or Nintendo. No, it was PlayStation.
The way corporations look at other companies is
used games don't get them money.
no, it's more abstract than that. It's whatever money they're making is money we're losing.
Ah,
So that's exactly why they're doing that.
That is aggressive as crap, though. That's super aggressive.
You have to. That is the nature of the business.
That's the nature of business in general, man. If you're a store owner, if you're making money, someone's losing money.
Yeah. Here's the thing. It's like the Wolf on Wall Street.
Ah, yes.
Now, that's the way business has always been. It's just now leaked into the video game side of the market. But like that's the way business has always been. It kind of like almost like how we react to specific things like loot boxes and gambling. That's always been a human nature thing. It's just now
The Skinner box.
It's just now being in our hobbies now.
It was only like a matter of time, man.
Yeah,
I guess.
If you think about it, no matter with a business, you're either growing or you're shrinking. You're not ever going to be staying the same. You either grow as a company or you shrink as a company.
Which I actually dislike that motive. That's when I say modern day executive thought. That's what I mean. I mean, there's certain places in the world, certain cultures. I think Japanese businessmen are like this, where it's not about are we increasing every single year? It's are we going to be alive in the next 10 years? Are we going to be growing over a 10-year growth?
It's just American capitalistic culture.
Yeah, it's that short-term profits in exchange for long-term.
It's funny that you say
longevity.
that because I just saw an article not too long ago about if you're a non-smoker in a Japanese company, they actually give you the amount of smoke breaks a normal person takes. They give you that in vacation.
That is dope. I like that because I have complained about that before in
that
factory
mentality
work.
to me is like they care about their employees.
Yeah.
Versus like how much money they can
make. Is that why they have a high suicide rate?
Well, I think
that's different.
I think with that specific topic is numerous things. Like, women there are becoming more empowered. So like they're instead of raising families,
but there's still pressures on society on them too, though.
You gotta look at it too. Like they may treat like their employees well, but there's also a reason too why Japan has been declining in video game sales, console sales, and why mobile gaming and portables have been increasing in sales
because they're working more.
Yeah, Japan's has always been
that'll be like a different topic for another podcast.
Yeah.
Japan has always been like a mobile. Oh, my bad.
Turn your friggin' cell phones off, guys.
Yeah, that's all me.
What is that 1940s Fallout 4 music?
It's actually off. I don't know why it did that. That's weird. Could have been an emergency.
Your phone's
it's a ghost.
It's a ghost, exactly.
Poltergeist.
All right, we're gonna finish up here, but
can we do a political wrap up really quick because this week was insane for politics. I just want to put them all out.
I know. Like I said, we're gonna wrap up here, but we're gonna talk a little bit about more political stuff.
Can I just throw it out?
Yeah, take it away.
Okay, are we ready?
We have. Well, go ahead and do it.
George Papadopoulos threw everybody under the bus after doing a guilty plea for Russian collusion. It doesn't matter if it's for Hillary or for Trump. Papadopoulos said it happened. Russian collusion happened. Frickin' Podesto stepped down because Mueller's probe is starting to go further and further in, so he's no longer a lobbyist for whatever super corpo he was working for. Let's not forget my favorite recently, Manafort was indicted. Gates has been indicted. 3 people have actually been indicted, but only one woman, the whistleblower, actually caught jail time, which kind of sucks. I'm just saying.
It's the one that tattled. It's the one.
Yeah.
It's like kind of funny. It's like, hey, like your country might be doing bad things. Oh, thank you for letting us know. Jail.
Yep.
And Kevin Spacey, even though this has nothing to do with politics, is a sexual predator. It ain't even like he only going after the kids. He out here raping everybody out here. I'm saying.
It's not even that. Of course, you guys.
I'll never play Advanced Warfare ever again.
Right.
And he tried to deflect it by saying he's gay, coming out.
Who's that other gentleman? We were talking about Harvey Weinstein.
Oh God, yeah.
Then there's also allegations of a Naughty Dog for that.
I just saw an article that Dustin Hoffman got accused of sexually.
Yeah, then some guy at another gaming company. What was it? Was it?
I don't know, man.
Yeah.
And a homie of mine, the Cajun Samurai, posted up that apparently some somewhat well-known voice actor from the anime sector has been caught being a pedophile. Eating them children's sandwiches, and it's like, man, no.
Oh God.
What? I'm actually glad.
Oh, God.
I'm actually glad that all of this shit is coming out. Now, it hurt me. I'm not one to worship the cult of personality. I'm not one to do celebrity worship. But Kevin Spacey is Kevin fucking Spacey.
You know, like going on that topic, I was trying to think of it logically. I think when you get that famous or that popular, or you have like a lot of fuck you money. I don't think. I think you don't start seeing people as people anymore. Like
You start seeing them as pawns, as objects.
as things you can just kind of fuck with. It's like you won't hear me curse a lot usually, but
Actually, you got a point.
the way I look at this is like when you have that kind of power or influence, and when you can get pretty much anything your heart desires, it's like, well, what do you got for next? It's like anything you want, you could buy tangibly. You could buy cars, vacations, homes, whatever.
Golden Cadillacs filled with Tide Lady Boys.
Yeah, whatever you guys like, you could buy. So I think when you get that powerful and that rich, you get so bored, you could kind of see what you could get away with. And I'm not that I'm excusing
or defending
any of their behaviors, but I see it like as like a sickness. It's like where you have so much like resources where you just don't care about anything anymore.
I want to point something out. And it's very important. I'm bouncing off what you're saying, and I agree with what you're saying, in fact. And I understand, you're not excusing it, you're not defending it, you're not even enabling it, you're just stating what is. And what I want to point out is that there's something we need to really pay attention to. One of the leads from Stranger Things recently left his talent agency after he found out that the guy that runs the place is also a predator and has sexual assault charges. This is what we're seeing right now, and it's not a coincidence that the people who are coming out right now out of the woodwork are all old.
Yeah.
Weinstein, old. Spacey, old. Cosby, old. And I'm certain there's youngins that are like that too, but what we are seeing right now is a shift in something that you guys mentioned earlier, in fact, a shift in culture. We have more transparency now, and it is our weapon. We have more communication now thanks to the internet. We're able to see these scum buckets for what they are, and it sucks. It really does suck.
The thing is too, like, I'm not saying like the victims are like to blame or whatever.
No,
but if it was me personally, if I went to an audition and the guy's like, "Hey, if you want this role, suck my dick," I would not even want a career in that industry or a career that way. Personally, for me,
but some people do.
But some people
don't have the personality to say no.
Look
at what happened. And it's not like this is a new thing either. Look what happened with the Coreys.
Yeah.
Corey Haim and Corey. Oh God. I just blanked. The other Corey from the Coreys, the two Coreys. So they both came out with tell-alls years ago about how they've been raped by frickin' older executive types. This is not a new thing.
Even Terry Crews, he's been roped
by some old Jewish executive.
Yeah.
The corruption that has been inherent in Hollywood and has been, yes, enabled, coddled, and protected by our grandparents, by our parents, even our great-grandparents. They're the ones who allowed this to happen, but they do not have the weapon that we have, transparency and the internet. So yeah, we hear these things.
The thing is too, like the whole, like not to interrupt you because
it's cool.
You're going on a good point. The gentleman Anthony, who was 14 years old at the time.
Anthony Rapp, yeah.
Yeah, who was 14 years old at the time. Kate was 26. It's like, what kind of parent allows their kid to go to a party, this in general? And I know there are some parents who want their kid to be so successful that they'll put their kids in harm's way.
Look at anybody who sent their kids to Michael Jackson.
Yeah, whether it be physical or psychological.
Yeah.
They'll be like, you know what, dude, just honey, son, bear with it. It's for your better future.
You're gonna get $5 million out of this.
But it's like. Like, I would never ever put my son in that position where, like, he like, if it was a choice for him to become successful and get, like, molested, or him to be, like, go to, like, a college or be his own businessman, I'd go for the second option.
But
there's no way I would put my son's health or, his mental well-being in jeopardy just to make him a movie star. Or whatever.
Yeah, but I'm not defending or enabling any of the scum. You guys have seen me on Facebook and Twitter. You know how I'm about on this, my position on this. But I need to point out the environment. Much like I would when it comes to systematic racism, when you're raised in an environment where, you got to sell out and sell out quick, you got to sell everything. That's why you have Hollywood parents. Was it Brooke Shields? Yeah, it was Brooke Shields who mentioned about her mom having sold her out at like 13 or 12 or whatever. No, it was like 10. She was like 10 or 11 when she was in Playboy of all things. In Playboy! This isn't a child rape ring on the internet. This was a mass-produced, worldwide, global nudie magazine. And they had a fucking 11-year-old in there when they were in the 70s. It is our parents and our grandparents' fault that this happened. I can't put this out enough. Seriously. I'm sorry if I'm, especially because I'm getting passionate about it. James is looking at me going, okay. Yeah, boy, yeah.
Yeah, you do you.
But it's true, though. It is true. Where was the outcries of the religious? Where was anybody who wanted to ever talk about defending the kids? You know, if that mess tried to happen nowadays, Ashton Kutcher, who I hate to the depths of my genes, and still I would give him enough credit to say that fool would probably step up and say, hey, stop that.
He's a big advocate for that stuff.
Exactly. Well, against
like
fighting against child. Yeah. And he would be the first to step up and say, hey, stop that. It's kind of his thing.
Here's the thing, man. Here's the thing to sum up all our conversations tonight. And I know I'm cutting you off here, but we're a little bit off. We're a little bit up.
We're overtime.
We're overtime right now.
Whatever. It was good.
I pulled all the goalies already. Here's the thing: humans have always acted like this.
True.
You know, like businesses have always been scumbags. You know, trying to delve into our inner thoughts, and you want to buy this. I know you do. People with power are going to be corrupted, and they're going to try to do whatever they want because of power. Because the power they have. It's just we're just in an era and time where you can't do that anymore without being called out for it.
Very true.
Like right now, we just called out EA, we called out Ubisoft. Back in the day,
Activision.
We would have talked about this in a room, and nobody else would have known about our conversation. But now, with the power of social media, podcasting, YouTube, the internet, we are able to talk about it in open discussion, and call out these people that are doing bad things, and discuss the topics that matter to us. In this case, it's video games, politics. And with that said, do you guys have anything else to add?
Before we sign over here, as a House of Card fan, or maybe an ex-House of Card fan, I totally read Kevin Spacey's tweet, his PR tweet, where he was sorry, he was drunk, and he's gay. And Frank's Underwood voice, and I kind of picture him looking to the back of the camera saying "fucking idiots" or something to that extent. So maybe Frank Underwood was always playing as Kevin Spacey or something like that. But that's all I wanted to say.
Kevin Spacey isn't gay though, right?
He is gay.
He is gay, but he tried to use it to deflect from the fact that he tried
that's not the point.
Sexual predator.
But I just didn't know he was gay.
Yeah.
Although, a couple things. One, I don't think Netflix should drop House of Cards. I think they should kill Frank Underwood and let Kathy, the VP, step up as president. End season 6 with her. That would be the coolest move in a situation like this. The other thing is, what's really pissing me off is that there is a certain subsection of feminists that are mad that Kevin Spacey got done with in a day because he was trying to rape men. And that's the reason why men suddenly activated on this. But they were talking about Cosby and Weinstein for years. Well, why didn't y'all take down Cosby and Weinstein when you had the chance? I mean,
just a quick thing I thought was funny about speaking about feminists. There was an article, I believe, on BuzzFeed because it's BuzzFeed,
oh god, no,
where there was a black African lady who was like, "Why did you only rape white women?" I'm like, "Why would you want him to rape anybody in general?"
What?
Well, yeah, her whole thing was like, he only raped white women. Why didn't he?
Oh god, no! I didn't now realize what you said.
Yeah,
no,
yeah,
why?
Yeah, I was like,
that's not right.
Yeah, and I'm like, why would you have to make this about race? No one should be raped.
It's not Pain Olympics. It's rape. Period. It's a bad thing.
Yeah,
I think they're focusing on the
wrong fucking things. Yeah.
Yeah, they're looking at. See, and that's what I mean.
Ulterior motives.
Yeah,
no,
that's what it is.
it's
why didn't he rape any black
pushing
women?
agendas and
It's
cherry picking arguments? That's always a thing that everyone's gonna use. That's like mainstream media tactics.
Yeah.
Speaking as a African American, it's gonna be bad. It always ticks me off whenever I hear that kind of shit. It's like, well, he just isn't good enough for no black women, or why ain't he why he only sticking with only white women? That's not the point, and also, don't tell me who to love. Fuck you. But that's on the side. That's rape and love aren't the same. You know what I mean? That's a totally different thing right there. Totally different argument. But I'm just saying, when it comes to rape, shut up. When it comes to love, what are you? No, stop it. Stop it. You're lucky I ain't walking down with a fucking Martian at this point.
I'm sure we're well above our
allotted time.
A little bit over. Yeah. Anyway, on that note, guys, don't rape anybody.
Please.
Don't buy loot boxes.
Please.
Right? Rent your video games.
Yes.
I don't know. But also, if you want to see more podcasts, check out youtube.com/GQ Asian Dude. We also have a Patreon set up. Just look up GQ Asian Dude Gaming Podcast if you want to support the podcast and want more podcasts and eventually more video. Drop a donation. It's totally up to you. It's, there's no obligation. You're only helping out us, and also you're getting more content, so everybody kind of wins.
Hey, can I shill?
What?
Can I shill a little bit?
Shill away.
Let me a little shill. Come on down and check out. Come on down and bring your kids. Come on down and check out the opening of my new website, which is my old website, www.thepenismysword.com. I feel kind of awkward talking about that now after all that discussion about rape. But
man.
But I'm just saying, come on down. The new website is currently open. My affiliate marketing program will be opening soon. Sell books, get money. Yep.
That it?
I have nothing to say, but I'm still working under my stuff. So once my stuff gets done, I'll have it out there for you guys.
Shill.
All right, guys. Thanks for another successful podcast. We'll see you again maybe in a week or so for the next GQ Asian Gaming podcast. Thanks for all your support, and we'll talk to you later.
Later, guys.